All right, RJ. First Kraken win, Climate Pledge Arena, and what a win it was. 5-1.
Yes. Oh man, that was a fun game. There's no other way to describe it. That was just a fun night all around. The Kraken started fast, and we'll talk about that more later because that was a point of emphasis. They kept the pressure on Montreal, and it was a blowout, and it felt like a party at Climate Pledge Arena. It was just awesome energy. I sprinted back from the arena, so I'm here right now, still catching my breath a little bit. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna start with that. Kind of first was just that you got to be there. Wasn't planned. A couple hours before the
No.
game, ticket fell into your lap. Obviously, got to take that. But yeah, I mean, I did want to ask, any differences between the first game and this game, and just what the energy was like in that building.
Oh man, there was a pretty big difference. And even before that first goal by the Kraken really early on, whether it was for the pregame intros or just kind of at the start of the game, it was a different energy. And I think overall it was louder. The fans seemed a little bit more engaged. Some of the, kind of hesitation I saw, from that first game where I'm like, there's probably another gear here. They hit that other gear today. So it was great to see. And I'm so glad I was there for it because, it was just awesome.
Yeah, it was the matchup 102 years in the making. They, of course, honored the Seattle Metropolitans before the game, unfurled that banner for the 1917 Stanley Cup champions, Seattle Metropolitans. That was awesome to see. First U.S.-based team to win the Stanley Cup. Really excited they did that. They had some stuff there from the Hockey Hall of Fame. All of that was really, really cool. But, I mean, I don't want anything to overshadow the fact that they won. They looked amazing. Total team victory. Like, it was just an awesome, awesome game from start to finish.
Yep, certainly the most complete game that they've ever played, just in every facet. And we'll get to that later. We'll break down everything that they did right, everything that went right. But yeah, overall, they did everything really well.
Yeah, no, it was good to see. This was the team I think we all, expected to see to some extent, wanted to see. There we go already, Brian, with the super chat. Gatorades for everybody.
Yeah, let's
Hashtag
go.
keep cracking. Thanks so much,
First
Brian.
home, thank you, Brian. First home win Gatorades.
Yep.
I could use one really. Yeah.
I know. But yeah.
Dylan had time to get his Gatorade in position. I just sat down.
Yeah, well, you got to be in the building, so,
Oh yeah, no, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining.
Yes, all the dubs in the chat. It's awesome. We'll start back up there with Brian. So that's what 60 minutes looks like. I can dig it. Yeah, I mean, this was the game where they had their foot on the accelerator right from the get-go. It stayed on that accelerator. It was awesome.
Yep. Most importantly, kept it on in the third period. I mean, we'll talk more detail about that, but the shell was gone.
No shell, and they had a lead. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
See, that's what it looks like when the defensive shell goes away.
Yeah. Sergeant Pickles, still some room to improve, but was so nice to see those long cross ice passes connecting. Yes, the transition game was awesome. We had a couple breakaway goals, some even more, breakaway odd man rush chances. Oh my God, all the stuff we've seen these other teams do to us, we finally were the ones doing it and taking advantage of it. Defense I thought played really, really well in this game. Grubauer played really, really well in this game, but yes, they continued with the cross ice passes. They continued with those breakout passes, taking those chances, trying to get the forwards entering the zone with speed instead of all waiting at the blue line and then entering the zone. They did that on the power play. Like the power play was the place to improve tonight. Clearly,
For sure.
But the rest of the time, it was really, really great to have multiple breakaway goals like that. That was awesome.
Yes, and it all starts out in the Kraken's own zone and with a sense of urgency moving the puck up the ice. And I want to credit Philip Grubauer because on a lot of those plays, he was directing traffic. The defensemen have to go fetch that puck. So they have to have their head down, looking at the puck, looking toward their own end. They can't be looking up the ice all the time. But they're hearing Philip Grubauer in there barking at him from in the net, telling him, there's a guy up there, make the pass. And so they know it's there without even having to look. Brandon Tanev, after his second goal, comes across the bench, points right at Philip Grubauer, like, that's on you, buddy, because he was talking to that for that pass that led right up to Tanev. So it's all about that communication.
Yeah, no, that is really, really important. It is tough on the defenseman. You got your back to the play. Think of it like a quarterback, right? Play action pass. It's hard, right? You're turning your back to the play. Why? It's hard. But yeah, no, Grubauer getting it done there, helping out the offense, helping himself out in that regard too. Like to see, again, total team play. Striatic, Seattle now has 6-3 record versus the Canadiens with a plus 25 goal differential. Yes, they do. Obviously referencing the Metropolitans from before, and I do want to thank you one more time, Striatic, for the shout out last post game for the Metropolitans kind of doc thing that I put together for the channel. Wanted to thank you for the kind words you said about that and bringing it up. Yeah, I mean, I know you said they played a short video before the game and then they unfurled the banner. Any thoughts on that? What was that like?
I thought the video was cool. It almost had a similar feel. I sent you the video because they tweeted it later. It had a kind of similar feel to the documentary video that you did.
Yes, it did.
It reminded me a lot of that. So I think they had the right idea with that. So they played it. It's cool. They had the family of one of the players there, to kind of introduce everything. So I liked that touch. They did lean into the historical element. You could tell from the start that they were going to do that. I was walking around the concourse, and to see those old artifacts from the Seattle Metropolitans, that old kind of sweater jersey that they would wear, and the old pair of skates. Man, skates look pretty different today. And then, of course, the trophy. I mean, yeah, it was just amazing to see, some real bits actually from the Seattle Metropolitans.
Yeah, they had a sweater from the goalie Hap Holmes, and then a sweater from Frank Foyston, along with Frank Foyston's skates and his MVP trophy for the 1916-1917 season. So that was really, really awesome that they brought that there, and all the fans got to experience that. We had talked as, maybe that was one thing that they would have at Climate Pledge Arena, was maybe some of that old stuff. I get it. It's over 100 years old. There's not a lot of it left. I understand the Hall of Fame, kind of wanting to hold on to that, protecting it in Toronto. I get that, but I was definitely glad it was there tonight so that Seattle fans were able to experience that, because I think it's a really special part of hockey history, especially for Seattle. Yeah, also they didn't completely turtle in the third, but hard to say if that was more the Habs being bad. All right, Montreal isn't necessarily the greatest team. We all know they went to the Stanley Cup final last year. This year they're struggling a bit. But a win is a win is a win to some extent. And, in the NHL, right, like any given game, bounces can go your way, they can go against you. We saw that in that Vancouver game last time out. I have a hard time just wanting to be like, well, we won because the Habs are bad, because, they're still an NHL team, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I think there's certainly an element of the Habs are bad. But if Seattle plays that way, it doesn't matter what NHL team you put in front of them. They're going to win games playing like that. It may not be 5-1, but they're going to be winning those games.
Yeah, no, if you're playing with that speed, if you're getting those odd man rushes, those breakaway chances, you're going to win those games more often than not. Doesn't matter who you're playing against. It, kind of reminded me a little bit of the Vegas Golden Knights, which I think is a very encouraging thing to see. Tanev, 30-goal season, RJ?
He's certainly on pace for that. He just keeps going to the right places. And that's really what you can say about what he's done, is he's going to the right places and he's taking advantage. I don't know if the pace is going to continue, but if he keeps putting himself in spots like that, then he's giving himself a chance at something like that, just because, I mean, he's going to the net, he's going to those tough areas, especially where he was on that goal from the Alexiak pass, that first goal, right in front of the net, right net front, just ready to tip that home. You're going to get a lot of goals going to places like that.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you see tipped in pucks, it's somebody in front kind of screening. They'll knock it down. Maybe it's a high shot. They'll knock it down. That was a true like redirection right into the hole under Allen's arm. That was a beautiful, beautiful thing to see from both aspects of the Kraken. Alexiak coming down, being aggressive like that, making that nice shot, pass, whatever you want to call it, and then Tanev being right there for it.
I love that goal because you have two guys who aren't really known for the skills. They're known for something else in their game besides their skill.
Yeah.
First and foremost, but they're two guys that are very sneaky, skilled players.
For sure. I think Tanev can get to 30 goals if he continues to have that net front presence and play with the speed he's been playing. That would be my only thing. Obviously injuries are something that always happens. You never want them to happen. I'm knocking on wood, but he's the fastest guy out there every shift he's on the ice right now. He's certainly exerting the most energy. Want him to keep that up for a full season, but that might be a little hard. I think that might be the only thing that stops him because, you're seeing breakaways from him and you're seeing those net front dirty goals. Those are the two consistent ways to score. So,
yep.
The Habs looked so tired at the end of this game. They absolutely did. The Kraken worked them out. The Kraken's transition game was fast. We talked about those breakout passes from their own zone. Talked about the breakaways, the odd man rushes. It was a track meet, and the Kraken were ready for that, and Montreal definitely was not.
Absolutely. They made him skate all game, and that takes a toll on a team.
Yeah, so, again, hopefully Seattle can keep that going. I think they're deep enough to keep that going, right? It's hard to do that 82 games a season, individually, but as a team, I think that's something that they can certainly do with how deep they are. You all wanted Donato, and we got Donato. We did want Donato.
Sure did.
Talked about wanting to get him back in there. He scored on just a textbook breakaway goal, right? Make that one deke to the side, bring it back over, go top shelf. It was textbook. Awesome to see him back in the lineup. I think he made a difference tonight.
For sure. And how about that block and steal to even get that breakaway? He created the whole play from start to finish. That's the kind of thing that he can bring. You put it all together kind of in that one play. And I was a little concerned about seeing him on the fourth line because, he hasn't done that well in a bottom six role in the past, but he still made a difference.
Yeah, no. And, Nathan Bastian had been playing well for the team. I know that must have been hard for Hackstall to take him out of the lineup like that, but I do think that Donato has, proven he should be in this lineup. He is creating offense for this team, kind of regardless of how the rest of the team has been playing. He's consistently creating offense for them. Mason Appleton goes down. It looked bad. I don't know if you could see it. I don't know where you were sitting. I don't know if they were showing replays. It was obviously like a lower, below the knee kind of injury. It was still hard to see even with the replays what it was. Hopefully he's okay. My guess is, though, he is going to miss some time. So we're probably going to see Donato and Bastian in the lineup together.
Yep, I think that'll create a spot for both of them. Yeah, I didn't get the best look. You probably had a better look at that than I did, the Appleton injury, because it was off in the kind of near corner for me, but it didn't look good, and he was ruled out before the end of the game, so that's not a good sign.
Yeah, and there was no immediate updates. Obviously, they got to, take x-rays depending on what it is. Definitely got to take an MRI tomorrow. So, stay tuned to our Twitter account, Emerald City HKY. We'll let you know as soon as there's something to say.
Yep.
Again, Brian, thank you for that super chat. That was awesome. Tanev wanted that hat trick so bad. He did. He was doing everything he could to get that. He was putting himself in situations he was just loaded up, ready to go on one of those kind of odd man rushes. It was a 3-on-2. He was just there waiting for the pass.
I like that they put him on that last power play with a couple minutes to go. So yeah, I was looking for it. All the people around me were like, "Oh, are they going to put Tanev out?" And they did. And yeah, we definitely all wanted that hat trick.
Yeah, and he had another net front opportunity. It was good to see, and I think that would have, the roof would have flown off that building if that guy gets a hat trick.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Wild are getting a run for their money versus the Canucks tonight. So obviously the next game's Thursday night, 7:00 at Climate Pledge Arena. Minnesota Wild are coming to town. Won't spend too long looking at the Wild, but the Wild seem to be one of these teams. So far this season, they seem to be like, every game is going to overtime for them. They're kind of playing up or down to whatever level of competition they're playing against. We just saw the Canucks, though. Canucks did look pretty good
Yeah,
against the Kraken. Like they've got
maybe that's a good sign.
they've got some more depth, and I do think Connor Garland has changed that top six just a little bit, made it a little nastier, a little scarier in different ways.
Yep.
Yeah, so we won. That's 1.4 Climate Pledge beers.
Oh yeah, the $20. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yep. Oh man. Yeah, just go with water at the game if you could help it. Like you get the free, fill up your free water bottle. That's the way to go.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, lots of excitement here in chat. They looked like they were having fun finally. I would definitely say that too. I mean, that's something that I think was certainly missing the second half of that road trip. Again, kind of a grueling situation to be in. I understand not having a ton of fun out there. But I do think that there was a little bit of pressure that they were feeling, right? Big historic opening night, that last game against the Canucks. You weren't seeing a lot of smiles and stuff from the guys. They're getting used to the building. They've only been in it for 24 hours at that point. Tonight they felt a lot more comfortable, a lot more confident. They seem to embrace it as their home building, and I think things are only going to get better from there.
Yeah, agreed. It's amazing what can happen when you are able to sleep in your own bed at night, when you have a better feel for the building. This I saw pointed out on Twitter, this is the first game the Kraken have played in a building that they had played in before.
Yeah. I mean,
that could make a difference, right?
There's definitely something to be said for that. Oh, Crazy Joe, the fans need to get louder. Do the fans need to get louder, RJ?
Okay. I think here's the thing. They get plenty loud when, there's a goal or something happens. When the run of play is just going kind of on the ice, it can get very quiet, which personally I don't mind because I like to be able to hear the players talking, all that stuff. I mean, I guess the one area is like after a really good shift, because the Kraken had a few of those with like a minute plus of zone time, and then the puck gets cleared out or it's an icing or whatever happens. I'd want to hear just like a really big cheer to kind of just reward them for that almost. So that's kind of the one thing I guess I would still say might be missing, but I'm sure that's going to come.
Yeah, and you can easily hear the Gru chant.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And stuff through the broadcast and stuff. That's something that happens at all arenas though. Like all arenas, when it's prolonged action, you're going like 6 minutes between a whistle. Like the place just gets silent.
And there's still the like, when it gets close chances. Although I want to mention something because this reminded me of it. Something I heard, like down around the media when I was covering the first game, someone talking about it because they were talking about the Canucks and Canadian teams and whatnot. He said, fans in Canada cheer you to reward you. Fans in the US cheer you to urge you on.
Yeah. Okay. I could see that. And there's something to be said
for what it's worth.
There's something to be said for both. I prefer the American way. Kind of it makes the fans a little more inclusive in what's happening that way, I think. If their energy is helping fuel the team, I think that's a good thing. They had the Frank Foyston 1917 PCHH MVP trophy in the building, 36 goals in 24 games and a 2-point per game player. What a stud. Yeah, especially on those skates, right, RJ?
I don't know how you even stand up on those skates, let alone score 2 points a game. I mean, man, credit to everyone in that era.
I was going to say, I know, goalies were very, very different back then. The pads, all that stuff was very different, but still, equipment was different for everybody. That was, and the ghost of Frank Foyston skated with the Kraken tonight for sure.
Tanev sure saw him tonight.
Yeah.
That's a good ghost to be seeing.
Yes, exactly. Good reference there. It's hard to know not being on the ice, but this totally looks like a team with more practice time together and chemistry within each line. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah. And it's weird because some of these new look lines that we saw, because they changed up some lines. I mean, they put McCann down on the third line and such, but especially like that Wenberg line, just the chemistry immediately. And I think, Haxtell's probably starting to get a little better read for, which guy is in the lineup, play better with other guys. And it takes a little time to just get a gauge for that. And I think he's finally kind of starting to put things together where it fits.
Yeah, I agree with that. And yes, at some point I want the tinkering to stop. I want things to settle down so like everybody gets really comfortable in what their role is on the team and all that. But I thought the moves made tonight were really good. Loved having Hayden Fleury back. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. I mean, I know for a while he was leading the team in shots. I'm going to check right now, but like at one point the Kraken
Oh,
had
was he
8.
really?
Yeah, at one point the Kraken had 8 shots and he had 4 of them.
Wow.
He finished with 5 shots, which was tied with Yanni Gord for most on the team. And he
Good
had
for
a
Hayden Fleury.
right, and he had quite a few that were blocked too. So I like
Hmm.
seeing Hayden Fleury back in the lineup. I think he deserves to be in this lineup. Didn't like that Carson Soucy was the guy taken out. I thought he had been playing okay.
Yep.
Lauzon still has some stuff. We can talk about that later when we kind of break down the goals.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked tonight's lineup. I would like seeing that again for sure.
Yep.
Uh, Tanev was a whirling dervish of death tonight. I like that. I like that
Yep.
description. We'll take a Foyston guardian angel. Yep, 100%. Hopefully he stays around in the building for Thursday. That's what Tanev does and is. Yep, he is. I know.
Chaotic energy embodied in a hockey player.
Yep, I know. Dustin has been watching it, in Pittsburgh last couple of years, just like I have been. He this is what he brings. This is why he's valuable. Um, I didn't know the Canadiens offered Seattle the cup, but Seattle refused. But maybe I missed that in the mini doc. No, I didn't cover that. I couldn't find like anything specific that, like, I was having a hard time finding corroborating evidence
Hmm.
about all that, so I left it out because it was just kind of more like hearsay from what I could tell. Um, but yes, that was seemingly something that happened. I understand Seattle not wanting to take it, right? Like you didn't win it, the
Yeah,
series
you didn't
didn't
win it. Yeah.
finish, but it was a nice gesture from Montreal. Uh, I thought one of the key differences compared to previous games tonight was the fantastic stretch passes from our defensemen. It led to 2 goals, I believe, including Tanev's second of the night. 100%, you nailed it. Those stretch passes were good. Not as many east-west passes as last game in the offensive zone, but there still were some. I just still think the fact that they're trying to pass tape to tape rather than just cycling it around the boards in the offensive zone just makes a world of difference.
Hmm. It does. And again, these stretch passes, I love the sense of urgency for coming out of your own zone. There was just that feeling of wanting to look for the opportunity to get it up quickly first and catch Montreal changing. And they just had them on the ropes for a solid 5, 6 minutes. Just repeat, repeat, repeat. As soon as Montreal would get it out of the zone, they'd finally get a clear, go get the change. But while they're changing, one Kraken player would stay out there, get the long stretch pass, and start it all over again. So want to see more of that.
Right, and that's actually something I'd noticed the last couple of games. Tanev especially, his line will go for a change. He will always go to the opposite end of the bench, of the rink from the benches, and he will sit there waiting for a pass. Those passes weren't coming, but tonight they started coming. So it's I like that. I don't know who brought that up. If that was a coach's thing, if Tanev was like, "Hey guys, I'm like wide open all the time, right? Like let's start doing this." But it is really really good to see. I think that's something that if they continue to do, yes, you just keep you. That's how you wear out teams. That's how you get teams to look like the Habs tonight in that third period, where they just can't do anything. They can't rally to come back at all because they're just too tired.
Yep.
Uh,
Okay, RJ, real talk. Have you tried Shaquille O'Neal's chicken shack yet? I have not tried Shaq's Big Chicken yet. I haven't eaten at the arena yet, actually, but that will be my first meal when I do. I definitely want to give it a try. Either that or that $14 cookie. If you've seen that on the menu, like I just want to know what that looks like. Like I don't think I could possibly finish that. I'll wait till someone is there with me that can split it but I just need to know what that $14 cookie looks like.
yeah, it better come with some bells and whistles. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Good confidence booster for our boys either way, for sure. Best game Lauzon had, he was getting in dudes' heads. I mean, he's been playing better than those first couple games. The only thing that really bothered me was on that first Montreal goal, why were both defensemen behind the net? This is the Mike Hoffman goal. Larson's back there to play the puck. Lauzon follows the other Canadian, doesn't tie him up, but now he's out of position and the front of the net is just left wide open. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
he went in way too close because Larson sends the pass to him, but he's only like 3 feet away, so it just goes right off his skate, and then chaos ensues. It's just the little things. Every game, there's always a little something with him.
yeah, that one just bothered me because that's like hockey 101. You never want both defensemen behind their own net. Like that's just something that shouldn't happen. The other thing was there was a couple times in the defensive zone. My other mantra to the squirt players that we coached, right? Play the man, the puck will take care of itself. There's a couple times that I think the Kraken could have used that. They let guys kind of just sneak in behind them. You know, there's other guys pressuring the guy with the puck. You don't have to stare at it. Make sure you're covering your guy out front. Love the short support passes up the middle and zone entries up the middle. Feels like a completely different team post road trip. New tactics everywhere. Team finally unleashed. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we're talking about all night. I think that's the major takeaway from this game. We saw the start of it in that Canucks game, see the payoff tonight, and it's what a payoff it was.
Yeah, I mean, you see the pieces they're able to add with this practice time, and I think that's a great sign for things going forward.
Yeah, throw the puck at the net and it will eventually go in. Yep, I mean, what's one of the things we've been talking about? You need that net front presence. Go ahead, throw some pucks in there, create that chaos. Goalie loses it, defensemen lose it. That's how you score goals in today's NHL. I mean, that and breakaways, and that's how they scored all their goals tonight.
Yep. And then a nice snipe by Everly. I'm so glad he got off the slump. He needed that one.
He did.
That was a part of the energy from the start. One, early goal, but two, who it was. Everyone on the Kraken knew that's the guy who needed the puck to go in for him the most, and he gets one early. I think that made a big difference that it was him.
I do too, and he needed that monkey off his back. It was a great play by him too. You know, he just broke east west and let it rip. I mean, I was talking last game about trying to bring more of that east west game. Anytime you get the goalie moving, the goalie, things open up, whether it's the 5-hole opening up or even, above the shoulders, like where Eberle scored, just because you can't be like moving cross crease all like this, trying to expect the shot there. Like that's just not how it happens. So anytime you get the goalie moving, things are going to open up. And, Eberle showed he's still got it shot wise. Like that hasn't been the problem.
Yep.
You can also be encouraged that they didn't just beat Montreal, they kicked their ass. That's a difference. I do think that's a difference. It's important to get these big wins for sure.
Yeah. And also just for the morale of the team, the fans, where everything was, I think everyone kind of got a little down on how things were, and this put things in the right direction.
Yeah. Like the look of the fourth line with Geeky, Sheehan, and Donato. Yeah, I mean, Geeky... I don't know.
I thought he had a rough game tonight. What did you think?
Yeah, Geeky's the one guy who's kind of disappointed me this homestand so far. And I don't know if that's just because of the new kind of position he's in. He is dropping down the lineup, playing, kind of wing tonight. I don't know, RJ. What do you think it is? Have you noticed anything specific?
I don't know. I mean, well, he had that head injury, or upper body injury, but we all saw what caused it. And maybe he's still kind of shaking off something from that. I don't know. I think he's probably okay in that regard, but he almost looked kind of tired at times tonight, where you'd in the run of play, where you fall down or you're on the ice and you have to get up and kind of skate back in position. He just looked more tired than the rest of the team. I just think maybe feeling under the weather in some way, and given how hockey teams are with injuries and whatnot, there could be something he's battling that we just don't know about. But I do agree with your assessment.
Yeah, no, we would never know. But can't talk Morgan Geeky without talking face-offs. Kraken dominated the face-off circle tonight, 60%. Awesome to see. Know that was a concern for a lot of us during that road trip. Things have settled down now that they're home. If you squeak out a win against a bad team, maybe you sit and say, man, that wasn't great. But when you just kick their teeth in, it's still something to take pride in. Absolutely, for sure.
Yep.
Gord's goal was beautiful. It sure was. I mean, that one, yes. I'm sure the arena went nuts for.
It did. And he gave this great subtle little fake that just got Jake Allen off his line. And when he deked right around him, you look at where Jake Allen is, you're like, how is he that far to the left Gord really just doesn't have to do a whole lot to go right around him. But it's just that sneaky little move that Gord gives, kind of faking the shot, getting Allen to set his feet and then bite for that move. It's just part of the artist on the ice that Yanni Gord is, the things that he can create, the things that he can do.
Yeah, you never want to see a goalie completely obscure one of the side posts, but Jake Allen was completely like that's how far over he was.
Way off his angle.
Way off. And Savard made a nice diving effort. He got his stick in the crease, but Yanni, backhand, it was up just enough. Like it was, probably only like 3 inches off the ice, but that was just enough to clear Savard's stick and go in. It was a great goal. Good patience by him. We saw in that Canucks game, he was looking to pass in a lot of those opportunities instead of shooting, with the exception of that one time he really drove the net hard. So I was happy to see that he just stayed patient, saw how out of it Allen was, and he made his move and got the goal. I think that's awesome. Who's your game MVP? Well, I would say 3 stars for me would be.
Okay, yeah, let's go 3 stars.
We'll do 3 stars. I think Tanev's got to be up there for sure. Obviously, the 2 goals, just the energy he brings. I thought he played a big role in tonight's thing. Philip Grubauer played a good game. Made some really timely saves. Don't think that one where he was in the complete splits in the first period, that should not be ignored. That was an amazing save.
That was amazing. Reminded me of his warm-up stretch where he'll just go full splits, head down. That's what it's there for.
Yeah, I want to give some credit to that. 3rd star, I liked Yanni Gord, I liked Hayden Fleury, but I think Jamie Alexiak for me.
I like that pick. Okay, for my 3 stars, I'll go Tanev 1. I'll go Gord 2. He just created a lot of offense, even beyond his goal. There were a few more chances that could have gone in. And then Grubauer 3. I think Grubauer certainly had a great game, and also just the communication I mentioned earlier. Like that's an underrated role that he played in this one.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what though? I just checked while you were going. The right. 3 stars were my 3 stars. It is Tanev, Grubauer, Alexiak. So
I guess you know better, huh?
You let your man crush on Yanni Gord get in the way of some stuff there. You're a little biased. Tanev's nickname in Pittsburgh was Turbo. Yep, and it's his nickname here. Some Turbo chants and stuff in chat.
I feel like that's not the last time you're gonna say that about bias and Yanni Gord, all that. I feel like they're gonna harp on that all season.
I mean, I've been going nuts over Adam Larson most of the season. So,
okay, fair enough.
We
yeah,
both
you got
our
your
guy.
guys too. Yep.
Grubauer played really, really well. Yes, for sure. He was awesome. Tanev does not have a slower setting.
That is Tanev's all-time speed.
Yep, it
so
is.
True.
That's what makes him awesome. And a great guy to have around. Eberle getting the quick goal reminded me of Vegas.
Just that quick strike to start games, I guess, because Vegas had a lot of that, especially in their first season.
Yeah.
Where, they would just start fast, and it felt like, all right, here we go.
Right.
And usually it would end like the game tonight, and it'd be like a 5-1 win. They just put them away.
Right, because once you have the other team back on their heels like that, because they have to respect that then from moving forward, right? They're gonna play a little more conservative because they have to, and once you get them playing conservative that early in a game, you've basically won the mind game at that point. So as long as bounces don't totally go against you, you should be in the driver's seat. How great is it to have Gord back ahead of schedule? Just a huge benefit. I don't think it can be stated.
No, I mean, what more could we say about it? I mean, he drives so much of what the team does, and it's just a totally different team with him there.
Yeah, he makes the depth work, and I think that's what's made the difference these last 2 games at home. They were desperately, and I will say desperately, kind of missing some of that energy, some of that creativity, and some of that, just high-end skill to really be a true number 1 center towards the end of that road trip. They really needed that shot in the arm, and he was exactly what the doctor ordered, so to speak. Really nice to see Eberle at least get 1, even if he couldn't bury the other. Yeah, they're all still going to come. Now that the first one's there,
I mean, that just shows they'll come if you keep getting the chances.
Gord's goal was pure filth. 100%. Any word on Appleton? Not yet, as far as I know. My guess is they're going to be waiting.
Out.
My guess is they'll be waiting till after an MRI and other diagnostic stuff tomorrow.
Yeah, I think at this point even the team doesn't really know for sure.
But I would be surprised if we saw him Thursday.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Tanev leading scorer, who saw this coming, his energy hits. Yeah, I don't think many of us, made that bet.
No, we predicted the Kraken leading scorers. Tanev didn't really get a mention.
No. But, happy for it. Obviously a fan favorite. Good to see. They got to keep the same lines that they went with tonight for the Wild game, right? Yeah, with the exception of Appleton.
Yeah, Appleton should be out, but other than that, yeah.
Yeah, and I hope the D pairings and everything stays the same, because I think they worked for the most part. The Larson Lauzon one has moments, but I think the continuity is just needed at this point. Talked about who our 3 stars are. Sad about Appleton because he was really finding his game in Seattle. Yeah, I mean, we talked after that Canucks game.
He felt it was the best game of the season for him.
Yeah, for sure.
And he drew a penalty on that play. It was a good hustle play, working around a defenseman. Drew a penalty on the one where he was injured too.
Yeah, no, it is upsetting to see, and hopefully, knock on wood, everything's okay. Have we slid Donato into center on any lines, or has he stayed primarily at wing? He's been at wing.
He's been at wing the entire season, and looking back to his prior team in San Jose, they tried him at center at the start of their season. It lasted like less than 2 games, like less than a week. He's better at wing.
Yeah. Gotta go jump down to the super chat real quick. Sergeant Pickles, thank you for the $5 tax deductible contribution to the Send Dylan to a Game fund. Yes.
He will get there eventually.
Yes.
I promise.
I don't have, people that just call me up, 3 hours before a game, like, hey, you want this ticket? Here you go.
It pays to have those connections.
It really does. I heard more red glare during the national anthem tonight on the Root broadcast.
There was a little bit more. Yeah, I wanted to mention that. There was a little bit more, but it was tough because, okay, actually, let's talk about the anthem for a second. This is the best 1-2 punch of national anthem singers that I could recall ever hearing, from game 1 and game 2. I mean, this, and they're different for different reasons too. I mean, this was like an opera singer, the powerful voice, like, wow. So it was tough to hear the red glare over that because his voice is just so powerful. But I did hear a little bit more of it tonight.
Yeah. So that's, we'll get it going. We'll get it there.
Yeah.
It would be nice if the team came out and helped us get it there, but
make a little post on social media. Give us something.
They've had other stuff on their minds, right? Getting into that building, getting stuff set up, just like the hallway shots of the Kraken walking to and from the bench, completely different. The other night, they couldn't even get the lights on. They were walking through the darkness.
Yeah.
Tonight, lights, fog machine.
They got a few more of those things down tonight. I talked about how the power play intro was a little off. The first one, they said, like, I'll start it, you finish it. It's the crack are on the, and then he had to say power play. But the second one, he didn't say anything, and the fans said power play. We're getting it going.
Mm-hmm. We'll get there. It's early. It's early.
Yeah.
My 3 stars: Tanev, Gord, Grubauer, Alexiak, and Eberle. Nope, I don't math much. Yeah, I mean, they all played great games.
I mean, how do you limit it to 3 stars in this game? Everyone played great.
Yeah. And Canucks lost 3-2 tonight. So thanks, Aaron, for letting us know. Anytime the Canucks lose, definitely news we want to hear. I don't think it was Canucks looked good. We made too many mistakes. I'd take Seattle next time we play. Canucks don't impress me. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. Seattle was the better team, I feel like, in that game. It was just a couple bad bounces, especially that last one. Just hops right over Dunn's skate. Connor Garland's off to the races. Not much you can do in that situation.
Yeah.
Did Gruby cut down on letting in easy chances, or were the D-men doing better shutting down guys? I only saw a few small breakaways. Yeah, I think it was a combination of both. Realistically, I was worried at times. Right, we've we've all gotten accustomed to these like long stretches of Kraken, offensive zone pressures, and then all of a sudden it comes back the other way, and Grubauer is a little cold. I
But he
felt
made those saves tonight when he faced those situations. So I mean, that's big.
he really did, and I feel like the defense did really help him out. On the last, oh, what was it? The last shot before the end of the first period. So like the last couple seconds of the first period, there was a breakaway from Montreal, and I forget which defenseman it was, but the defenseman went down. It was like a 2-on-1 situation. The defense went down to keep the pass from happening, but he also went down in front of the player with the puck, the Montreal forward with the puck, which took away the low chance, right? And Grubauer then knew, okay, there's no chance for a low shot, and he was able to stay standing up, and he made the save look easy. I don't know if that defenseman, and I got to go back and see who it was, if that defenseman doesn't also get in the shooting lane as well as the passing lane, that's such a harder shot for Grubauer to take, because you got to go down into butterfly, and if that shot goes high still, that's things open up over your shoulder.
Yeah, absolutely, and that would have been a huge momentum turning point in the game.
Mm-hmm. So I think it was a combination of both. I think Grubauer played his best game probably, and the defense really stepped up big tonight, offensively and defensively. So good to see. Just watch your history mini docs about the Mets. Any chance you do some about the totems? Yeah, so that was originally the plan. It was kind of early on in our channel's history, so there wasn't a lot of traction. So we just kind of dropped it. But yeah, now that things have definitely picked up for us, there's a chance I could go back and kind of finish out the Seattle hockey history stuff for sure. How about that banner though? 2 banners and 2 home games. What banner is next on Thursday? Yeah,
You have to get a little bit more creative for another banner on Thursday. Yeah. Hi also to Scott, Cheap Seat Sports. It was good to see you at the home opener. We got to chat for a bit. We're fans of your channel. Thanks for coming on to the chat.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody can go check out his channel too. Tanev had Bernie Morris ghosts with him tonight. Yes, he did score those goals. Another great Seattle Metropolitans reference. Love it all. Fleury will for sure get some goals. Yeah, I mean, if he keeps shooting like that,
yeah, and they're coming.
Yeah, and as long as he stays in the lineup, Hackstall.
Mm-hmm.
I almost took the quietness in the third as a good sign. First blowout win in history. Let the fans just chill and enjoy. They still got loud at the end to show the appreciation. Yeah, I mean, everybody stood up for those last minute and a half, it seemed like.
That was awesome. Like, there was just about everyone kind of decided to stand up, give him a round of applause. That was great. And yeah, there were some quiet moments in the third, but it's because the Kraken were completely shutting the play down. I mean, it just, neither team had anything, which is what you want to see when you've got a big lead. So exactly, it's a good sign.
Yeah. Pete Muldoon was a classy man. Yes, more Metropolitan reference. Yes, he was. I mean, back then I think there was just like 2 style of men, right? Like there was like you were bathed and in a suit, or you were like working some hard labor job. It's it's just the way it was back then. Tanev is so likable. Of course he is. He's awesome, both on and off the ice. He is so likable. There's a reason. I mean, is he the number 1 jersey seller so far?
We don't have updated numbers on that. They took it, kind of down on the site where you can't sort by most popular, but he must be, right. I mean, I can't imagine at the team store at the Iceplex. There's a whole rack of Tanev shirts as jerseys, and they were all sold out. It's just empty, the entire Tanev section. So I mean, yeah, you'd have to imagine.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, who have you noticed? Have you just noticed one player?
That's true. I actually going around the arena because it's been 2 games now. Probably Grubauer, most popular. It's probably the jersey I've seen the most. Tanev right up there. Probably less than Grubauer. I think Grubauer clear number 1, but then Tanev around there. I've seen a lot of Alexiak. Yeah, and some Gord. Good amount of Yanni Gord jerseys too. I feel bad. I've seen some fans with a Cholowski jersey. I've seen some others of guys that just aren't here, and I'm like, oh, sorry.
Nah, I mean, there's still fans still supporting those guys. It's
Hey, if you love having an obscure jersey, which I totally get, that's a good one to have.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely fans like that for all of them. Even in the third, they managed to forecheck while still holding shape defensively. Yeah, again, they had the accelerator down, start to finish, finally.
Yep, and that's what you want to see. You don't have to be defensively bad to get out of that shell. You can still keep your foot on the gas and not sacrifice defensively for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. Cheap seats with some more clarity on the 1919 thing. Montreal was forced to forfeit the 1919 Stanley Cup because they had too many players go down with the Spanish flu. One died of it days later. Couldn't ice a team. Seattle decided not to win that way. Yeah. So, again, I didn't include it in the mini doc because I saw differing reports and different stuff going on about that. That does make sense to me. And I 100% understand Seattle not wanting to, take a championship because the other team has guys sick with the deadly flu. Like it's that is not the most desired way to have your name on a trophy for sure. Western Division maybe a lot better than first thought. Kraken still a playoff team? I think so.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's obviously not the ideal record start you want, but if this game is any indication of what they're able to be now, yeah, I think there's no reason they can't be a playoff team still.
Right, and we're seeing the other teams we thought would cool off after those hot starts. The Sharks lost tonight, so that's the first indication, right?
Yep. Getting back to normal. Vegas won, Sharks lost. Things are starting to normalize.
Yeah, nature is healing. Have to say it was nice to not face a red hot goalie performance for once. I still think the Kraken earned it, but it was nice to not face a nearly impenetrable wall for once since Nashville. Yes.
Amen. Yes. I mean, after Demko's performance in that home opener, he was fantastic. It was good to see Jake Allen look human.
I mean, and he still had some big saves.
Yeah, he did. The Kraken could have had more, that's for sure.
Yeah. Does the NHL have a concussion protocol? Yes, they do. I'm trying to remember the exact specifics. Do you remember offhand?
I know they have. I mean, they've got the spotters up in the arena, so players can get pulled even by the spotters, even if they, insist they're okay. You have to pass a test, to get back into the game, such things like that.
Yeah, No, I know that they go back to the locker room and they do, they check their eyes, make sure they're dilating right, all that stuff, and they ask them some questions, make sure short-term memory and stuff is all fine. And then, I mean, with Geeky, he was their first day of practice back here in Seattle. He was in that red no contact jersey. So
right, he was in a red no contact jersey, which would tell me that he hadn't been fully cleared from concussion protocol at that point. But obviously, he's gotten back into games, which means he must have been cleared.
Right, and jumping ahead, could Geeky have a concussion? It's totally possible. I mean, you can pass those kinds of tests and still have a concussion, still have, dealing with things like that. I mean, we've seen guys, their careers ended from concussions, out for really long times, have side effects for really, really long times. My sister had a scary concussion. She'll still have issues from it years later now, right? They are just nasty.
Those are no joke.
Yeah. And Dustin, ever since Crosby missed a season and a half, they got more serious about concussions. Hit to the head usually leads to mandatory check. You'll see them immediately have to go back into the tunnel to do a concussion test. Yeah. So, and that's, like I said, they, eyes dilating, short-term memory, it's hard. You can't straight up diagnose it easily. Was there a noted increase in the fan participation on the goals song?
So as far as the "Let's Go Kraken" part, not really that I noticed. I think again they didn't really see it coming, but it gets lost in the noise, especially with tonight with how loud things were. It kind of does get lost because it's a little quieter and it's not part of the natural of the song, so you don't see it coming. So yeah, I didn't see a whole lot more than that, but it's mostly just because everyone was loud, clapping, cheering. That's what it was.
Yeah. Getting that fan participation, I feel like all teams try it, and it's always the hardest one right after a goal like that because everyone's so super excited. I'm trying to think. I mix all of them up. Right, you and I have both been to many, many hockey games. Mm-hmm. Is it the Kings that actually get that to happen, where the fans chant? Or am I thinking San
Um,
Jose?
it's
You know what I'm talking
well, the
about,
San
though.
Jose
Like,
does the hay, they do the
yeah,
hay and
yeah,
just so that's it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they do that, and the fans know that because it's been that way for a couple
20 plus
decades.
years. Yeah,
Yeah, so it takes a little more time.
yeah. Let's go. Wasn't following the game at all. Was waiting for the highlights to come out. 5-1. Heck yeah. Yes, it was a
You're
great
gonna
game.
enjoy the highlights. There's some good stuff there.
Yes. Lexiak and Larson just dominated Montreal's small forwards on the boards, took away so many options for Montreal. Yeah, we did not see those prolonged board battles like in that Canucks game where, like,
Mm-hmm.
all of play would pause for, 10, 20 seconds at a
It
time.
was just such a mismatch. The Kraken were able to kind of have their way with those.
Mm-hmm. Ethan asking, do we have bad ice? So I know Jordan Eberle talked about it, I think, after last game. I think it was him, right?
Yes, it was Eberle. Schwartz mentioned a little something too. So I'll go into that a little bit more. In the media availability, Jordan Eberle, without a whole lot of prompting, he was just asked, what's it like to kind of break in the arena and all that. And he said, well, it's good. You got to get used to it, especially the ice, because he called it, I think, snowy and what was
Slow.
the other? And slow, snowy and slow. And he mentioned that it wasn't something specific to Climate Pledge Arena. It was just something with newer ice. Mentioned they had the same problem at Rogers Arena in Edmonton, or Rogers Place in Edmonton. So yeah, the ice. I mean, it looked a little better tonight. It looked like the puck wasn't bouncing as much. One thing that Jaden Schwartz did mention is he said, well, they had a concert the night before, indicating that might have been a reason for it, which I think is legit. Like, that's something that's been known to cause worse ice, having a concert the night before and having to kind of move things to the ice so quickly. That was not the case tonight, and I think the ice played better. I'd be interested to hear what the players have to say about it, though.
Yeah, but I mean, they looked faster. We talked about the numerous breakaways and stuff they had. So my guess is the ice was a lot better tonight. Quick hockey history, right? Back in the 90s, of course, the 90s had some decent teams in Florida and New Jersey, to say the least, known for their defense, known for their goaltending. Back then, the NHL wasn't great about regulating things like ice. Both those teams were well known to flood the ice. They would just put extra water. They just make it watery, and it was horrible, and it would slow the game down, play right into their defensive hands. Thankfully, we don't have to deal with that these days. Game could stay fast, a little more exciting than some of those trap defense games of the 90s. But still fun, just fun stuff from NHL's history. My boys Tanev and Gord with the rocket boosters. That goal by Gord was just spicy. It was a great thing. Great to see live, happening live. It was awesome. Aaron also wondering about the ice too. Seemed like the puck was really bouncing around tonight. It does seem to bounce more here than some other arenas,
but I think it bounced less tonight than on Saturday.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. 64 in chat, 15 likes, hashtag get Kraken. Yeah, no, every post game I think we've gone up. Like, this has been awesome.
Yeah, and we're up to 23 likes now, so you helped him get Kraken. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, no, and thanks everybody for being here, for staying with us as long as you guys do in these post games. It's been really awesome. Quick thing about the last game. My oh my, the crowd is electric. Love it. Classic Seattle. Yeah, no, it's all Seattle crowds are great. That YouTube text will get you. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Scott knows as well as anyone.
Yeah. Creative Moxie, Muckleshoot Casino Power Play. Lol. Yeah, we got
what it is. Muckleshoot Casino Power Play.
Yeah, we've got the Muckleshoot Casino Power Play and the what's the face-off one?
Face-off one.
Yeah. There's for the opening face-off of each period, that's sponsored by a different casino.
Oh,
Squamish.
I'm sure
Squamish,
chat will,
I think is what it is.
Chat
Something like that. I love that they market it as their Seattle's closest casino. Not the best.
Yes,
not the most lucrative. They're the closest.
Sometimes that matters the most.
Yeah. Yeah, giving credit to Grubauer. Love to see that. Gonna enjoy tomorrow morning's cup of coffee while watching YouTuber Scotian Canadiens live feed replay. Love the guy, but it ought to be hilarious. Yeah, I mean, I gotta think.
I'm guessing Habs fan there. Yeah, that's one of the fun parts about being a hockey fan is you have a big win, you kind of watch YouTubers from the other team react. I'll admit I've done some of that. As a Sharks fan before this, I would watch some Vegas streams, particularly after that Game 7. It's fun.
Yeah, yes, of course. Any chance you got to bring that one up. I mean, you have to, right?
Yeah,
that's being fans. Can't wait till we as Seattle fans have that moment. Um, Two winless teams in the Central. Is the Pacific still the weakest division? I mean, I think Montreal at this point. I mean, not Montreal. Chicago at this point. I mean, that drags down any division. They have to be the worst.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, although Arizona is the other one, and we didn't expect a whole lot different. I still think at the top, the Central is pretty darn strong. St. Louis looks even better than we thought they'd be. Minnesota at 5-1. Winnipeg, Dallas, Nashville. They're there. Yeah, we're forgetting 2-4 Colorado.
Yeah,
we'll see how that works out, but I think they'll turn things around.
Yeah, it's still early. Haven't even reached double digits. Sample sizes are small. That being said, the Pacific is stronger than we thought, and I think that's ultimately a good thing. Just for West Coast hockey, it's really hard in hockey. There is a massive East Coast bias in like the national media and all that stuff. So I do think it's better when the Pacific Division, top to bottom, is strong. I know that makes it harder on the Kraken, but I think that is something that's good for hockey and certainly for us West Coast fans.
Yep, we got to be the counterweight. West Coast bias.
Yep.
Let's go.
West is best. From what I saw from the highlights, so I'm limited. Grubauer aside, defense looked like they were really locking down when the pressures came, a lot more comfortable, especially as the game progressed. Yes, I think they've done a much better job of kind of, pressuring other teams in the defensive zone, not giving them time and space, keeping sticks in passing lanes, all that stuff. They just look so much more comfortable than they did on that road trip. Tanev the McGoat. I just like they never end. It's awesome.
Yep.
Let's see.
A little history lesson there.
Yeah, FYI, the Spanish flu likely originated in the U.S. Midwest, only named Spanish because they didn't have World War I censorship. Yes, no, it is. It's more now called the 1919 flu or stuff like that.
So apparently Tanev is the number 5 selling jersey
nationally.
In the league.
Yeah, and
according to Hockey Night in Canada.
I could see that because like obviously all the Kraken fans getting it, but like also if you're just like into fun players to watch, wouldn't Tanev be the guy?
Yeah, he's your guy. Hope nobody bought a Barry Boulet jersey. I have not seen one yet. I will let you all know. Believe me, I will tweet it if I see one. But I have not seen one yet.
That would be brutal. I do know, right? If you're ordering online through Fanatics, right, which works with all the leagues at this point, they do. At least I know for the NFL and stuff, they have that like jersey insurance thing where if that season or whatever, or within a couple months, that player gets traded, you can return the jersey or exchange it for a player that's still on the team. So
that's nice.
If you did happen to get a Barry Boulet jersey and you're freaking out right now, check into that. I don't know if the Kraken team store would do something like that, but it might be worth looking into for sure. Tanev is noticeable in good ways almost every shift. Love the energy and hustle he brings. Yeah, I can't stop. None of us can stop oozing about how awesome it is to have him around. Why does the decision of Gord, Tanev, or wait for Beniers have to be so difficult? On the other hand, my Kraken hat will be here on Thursday. Still looking at which jersey to get. Remember Ethan from after the first game trying to decide on what jersey to get. Still there. I mean, they're all good choices.
The more difficult Gordon Tanev might make that on you. I mean, I think they're going to keep doing their thing.
It is. I mean, if the thought of Tanev jerseys selling out worries you, that might be a clue to hop on that right now. Is it me or does Yanni seem unhappy? Dude scored and showed no emotion at all. Lol. Hopefully everything is cool off the ice.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'm, around the team a little bit more. I see, the players kind of, more behind the scenes, and he is not unhappy. He is loving it here. If he did show no emotion, I didn't see the celebration, whatever, after the goal. If he did show no emotion there, it'd be like the first time since this training camp started that he showed no emotion at any moment. I mean, he is always having a great time. He's smiling more than anyone else. I would not be worried about that at all.
Yeah, no, and Sergeant Pickles notes right underneath that. Yanni looked relieved, maybe a bit frustrated earlier. Chances didn't go in. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, and I think there was a little bit of that in the interviews, yesterday with because so many of the questions that were asked were about like, why aren't pucks going in? Why aren't pucks going in? Like, how do you keep confident when pucks aren't going in? And so he had to answer a lot of those in English and in French. There's also all the French Montreal media there that he had to deal with. So he had to do a lot of media stuff. So I'm sure he probably happy just to get back to scoring goals and going about his business.
Mm-hmm. I'll bring it up. Concussion protocol. Ask them questions. Half of them can't understand English, and those are the Canadian players. It's definitely not a perfect system.
No,
I agree with that. Dustin, this is quite belated compared to where you actually are, since you're typically behind in chat. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. But Nashville typically has pretty good after-goal coordination with the crowd. They do the whole thing where they count the goals against the goalie and chant, "It's all your fault."
yeah, they do, and they have like the bell go 1, 2, however many there are, and
yeah. No, all those chants against the opposing goalies, I always enjoyed those. Would love to hear about from a goalie though, whether or not they even hear it. Like Grubauer always said, he says he hears the grooves. I got to assume then when he's in an opposing building, he must hear those other ones too. We get a quick Wild preview. Not sure about this year, but last season they were honestly boring to watch outside of Kaprizov, but annoying defensively. I haven't seen too much of them this year so far. It seems like
what I've seen, that hasn't changed a lot. They're still pretty, fairly low goals scored, but lower goals against.
Mm-hmm.
They're 5-1. It's working for them.
Yeah, I mean their D is pretty stacked too. Like they have a lot of depth on defense, and they know that, and that is what they want to lean into. So, it should be a fun game though, I think. Good day from Australia. You guys are putting up great content. I was really worried about the Kraken forwards depth, etc. Not too worried now. Yeah, hey, thanks for joining us in Australia. Yeah, I think the forward depth is not the problem that we were maybe worried about, certainly from a scoring perspective. I mean, Tanev, right? He solved it all by himself.
We're seeing a lot of that, problem solved. And thanks for good afternoon.
Yeah. I hope you're enjoying your summer, or almost summer, I guess.
Yep.
Yikes, Chicago is bad both on and off the ice. Yes, so we did get all, the off ice stuff broke today. The news that we knew was coming
was the
from
story
Chicago.
Of the league today.
Won't get too much into it for this post-game chat, but I mean, I think we can all agree that fine was pretty pitiful, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. SDPN has a new show similar to this called Game Over for the Habs. So another option for Montreal fans.
Podcast. Yeah.
Need to be aware of the Central to see who is grabbing those wild card spots. Kraken aren't that far off with the Canucks loss. Yeah, that is.
It's a long season. They're still, by all means still in it, and there's a lot of season to go. It's gonna go up and down and whatnot.
Yeah. Which defenseman impressed you guys the most tonight? Alexiak for me.
Okay, Alexia. I mean, yeah. I guess Hayden Fleury impressed me the most compared to what I was looking, for from him. But Alexiak was fantastic. There are not really any bad answers here except maybe Jeremy Lauzon, but don't worry about that. But yeah, it's a lot of the defensemen were impressive.
Yeah, but it's always Adam Larson. I need a jersey, but I'm going to have a really hard time choosing, and an even harder time if all these guys keep playing like this. It is tough, man. It is hard.
We did put out a jersey flowchart for those who are interested.
Yep, it's on the Twitter and the Instagram, I think, right?
Yep, yeah, the Twitter and Instagram, I believe.
Yeah,
and then it's, I think, also on the website if you scroll down a little bit as far as stories.
Yeah, it might be buried on all of them a little bit. You might need to retweet that, get it back out there.
Yep.
It's both the Instagram and the Twitter are at Emerald City HKY, by the way, for those of you who need that. Amazing game, just got home. Yanni is awesome. Yes, he is. Love having that guy around. All right, I'm out, guys. Getting a little late. Got school tomorrow. Big W tonight. Go Kraken. See ya, Ethan. And I think Ethan's in Michigan, if I'm remembering right. So definitely later for you than for
Oh yeah,
us.
for sure.
uh, okay, got to talk about it. Our power play was shut out. PK was awesome, but the power play needs to pick it up. Oh my gosh, the power play was so frustrating to watch.
Yes, it was. It definitely still a work in progress there, and it feels okay. Go ahead. I can tell you want to say something.
How is it that they're the only power play in the league that cannot sustain offensive zone time, right? Like anybody who's been around on the channel for a while knows I don't like the 1-3-1. I watched it forever in Pittsburgh. They would just pass around forever, never take a shot, never score. But they were at least in the offensive zone for those 2 minutes. Tonight, there were power plays where they were in their own zone more than they were in the offensive zone. How does that happen, especially when 5-on-5 they're able to sustain these prolonged pressures?
They looked a little disjointed as far as like on the entries too, gathering the puck in their defensive zone. I mean, and it looked worse than in past games in that respect. So I think that's definitely kind of the next piece that needs working on. I mean, Dave Haxtell was asked yesterday, he said, we have a few more pieces we want to add to our game. And he was asked, well, what are those pieces? And he said, well, quicker starts at home. We want to start faster at home, use that crowd to our advantage. Certainly got that down, absolutely got that down tonight. And the second thing he said was the special teams battle. He said, talk about winning the special teams battle. The power play just has to be better. So that's kind of the next piece, I think, to really work on. And we'll see in practices in the coming days, how much they work on that.
Yeah, they tried a couple different things tonight. I know for a while, right, they've been trying that McCann from like that pseudo point position. I don't know what to really call it. He's not really playing the half boards. He's not really playing the point. Whatever he's doing off over there. They tried that a couple times. They tried the traditional, hey, we're going to have one player slap shot it from the face-off dot on the side. But they chose Yanni Gourde. Like
I don't. They said Yanni Gourde.
He is not. He's not exactly known for his slap shot.
He was so good at drilling it into Romanov's shin guards, though.
Yeah, and it was clear that Montreal knew exactly what was happening, and they just ran it over and over and over. I was like, all right, guys. But as Strayatic brings up, Seattle, we at least got a great PK. That is for sure one thing we've got down.
Yeah, no complaints there.
Especially since Yarncroke's come back. I thought he's been great on there. Power play will come like the regular scoring has, just needs time and chemistry. Yeah, things have been shuffling around. I just think they need to, I don't know. I just think they have to kind of loosen up a little. I think at this point it's become...
And that was one thing that Haxtell mentioned in practice yesterday, where I could kind of hear him saying to the defense, he's like, hey, defenseman, like you can move around when you're in the offensive zone. Like you can move. He said it like that. Just kind of trying to remind him, let's move a little bit. I think we still need to see a little bit more of that, but it's good that he's at least, focused in on that as something they need to do.
Right. And, we did see the defenseman move. It was just always 5-on-5. Alexiak twice carrying the puck deep down into the offensive zone. Of course, that's how Tanev got his first goal. There was another one. I'm pretty sure it was 5-on-5. It was Dunn and who was Dunn playing with tonight? Fleury, and they were like way far down. Like the Kraken had Montreal completely suffocated in around Allen, and it was like 5-on-5. And I was like, wow, like I've never seen this happen.
So they got the message at 5-on-5. Just needs to translate.
Yeah, just got to get that going on the power play. Hayden had some moments, finally shot the puck and shoot it. He did.
Boy, did he? Yeah.
Yeah. Good to see. He even had some, he had 2 or 3 that were blocked, a couple off target, but definitely like to see that from Hayden Fleury. Considering our guys like to throw so many hits, are you surprised there haven't been more fights or even scuffles? No, because they're hitting clean.
Plenty of fight. Yeah, they're hitting clean. Yeah, and like the last of the road trip games got pretty chippy, but yeah, these first 2 games, they've been all clean hits.
Yeah, and I think that was them just trying to get things going. Like when
you're losing,
bad.
you kind of want to push the issue.
Yeah. Hey boys, glad to have caught you. Great home win. Could you do me a favor and do a quick recap of your biggest takeaways, just real quick? Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for us and a lot of people in chat, the the breakout passes from the defensemen. I think that's the biggest takeaway from tonight. Getting
transition game was lethal.
Yeah, getting that speed going, having odd man rushes, some of those breakaways, and just being able to finish on those too. I mean, it's not enough just to get them. You do have to make a move, and you got to beat an NHL level goalie. But they didn't have problems tonight. But I think that's the number one takeaway for us. And glad you could hop in here. Braun, just make sure you get a jersey with the inaugural patch. Anyone would be good. Yeah, that is something.
It's a cool patch. You definitely do want that.
Yeah, and that's only through the team store, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I've seen the online ones. At least initially didn't have them. They sell the patch separately, but yeah, I think it's just through the team store.
Vegas injuries. Mark Stone's out till January, leaving the door wide open in the Pacific. Yeah, I mean that certainly helps anybody having to go up against Vegas. Are you going to do a mailbag for the weekly podcasts? So, I mean, we could do another mailbag. We haven't done one of those in a long time for the podcast.
Yeah, I think that's something we could do. And certainly like with the social media and stuff, we have probably a lot more Twitter followers than we did the last time we did a mailbag. That's just been kind of rocketing up. So that would probably be a good thing to do. Reach out for a mailbag for the next episode.
Yeah. And, we've been kind of doing it right with these post games.
I mean, like if you've got a question, throw it in chat, we'll answer it. But,
yeah.
But it might be good, especially for the people who, are on social media, but aren't always able to do these.
Yeah. Gru had a great game for sure. Where's Blackwell going to slot in? I have no idea.
No clue. But that's what's so good about Blackwell and his game is he can slot in anywhere. So basically wherever there's a need. I think he's just going to go in the spot where like maybe they have an injury, maybe they have just wherever they need someone. That's where he's going to go.
Yeah, and I'm going to jump down to say goodnight to Brian. Dude's in Raleigh. So it's almost 2 a.m. Wow. Dude, thanks so much for staying up. Thanks for the super chat earlier. That's awesome. Yeah, glad we can connect you back with Seattle here. Yeah, so Blackwell, not quite sure. We'll see. Any reason to think the blue line carousel is almost done? I'm not sure how many more combos Hack can make. Well, there's still Will Borgen, so there's a lot.
Yes. Yep. All the different permutations with Borgen in the lineup. If we ever see that.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope it stops at some point just for some consistency, but we'll see. My wife and I have taken to calling Yarncroak Ironhook since we learned the translation of his name. Yep. That is...
Yep. You can't unsee it once you know the translation. You just always think about it.
Yeah, and it's a pretty sweet awesome nickname to have for sure.
What a name.
Ironhook's a pretty badass name for sure. What constitutes... This is a good one from Geo Show. What constitutes a cross check in front of the net? How was that hit on Donato not a cross check? So I'm struggling to remember exactly the play. It seems like
I'm trying to remember.
Now, obviously the cross checking thing has been like a big deal this year for the NHL, and they have been cracking down on it a lot. But it seems like as far as that, they're really looking to see if the player goes down. Mm-hmm. Like that's been kind of
if you're taking them out of the play, certainly, and of course cross checking just in general is you're hitting someone with the stick that's parallel to the ice. That's where it starts.
Yeah, it's this motion.
Yeah, the penalty motion like for the ref makes is perfect. It shows exactly what it is.
The only way you can check in old hockey video games, right? It's just all cross checks all the time. Yep. But yeah, I mean, right now that's kind of been what it's been is just if the player goes down to the ice, it's getting called. Otherwise, I mean, you are just limited insofar as how you defend in front of the net. It's hard, but I think that's what it is. Thanks guys for your commentary. It's really dialing me in. Totally welcome. Glad you're here. Glad you're enjoying it. I need to see a Yarncroak in Dustin Hoffman Hook outfit. Oh my gosh, that would be great for Halloween. That'd be really funny.
Oh, that's a Halloween costume idea.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we see some stuff sprinkled throughout the broadcast on Sunday.
Yes. I mean, yeah, they're playing on Halloween, but there's going to be some Halloween parties over the weekend too. Mm-hmm. And NHL players, they have great Halloween costumes. So hopefully we see some good stuff from Kraken players.
Yeah. Didn't get to watch tonight's game with sound. Did the announcers talk about the 102 year grudge match a lot? They did some. I wouldn't say like they dwelled on it, and it wasn't like, oh, back from commercial every time, right? It wasn't like a prize fight or something like that where they're just gonna keep hammering that home.
Yeah.
But I thought they did a good job talking about it, bringing it up during some stoppages and during the intermissions and stuff. It was definitely, if you watch the broadcast with sound, you would definitely know that was what was happening. And then I think this one might be the last one for us tonight, just because it's been getting late. Was anyone expecting more than 2 minutes on the Schwartz high stick / headshot / beheading? So that was on that first Montreal goal, the Mike Hoffman goal. Jaden Schwartz, he went to, stick lift Hoffman's stick, missed it completely, rode right up into Hoffman's face. They initially announced it as 4 minutes for the high stick because it drew blood, but then they later got, word from downstairs. This is what the broadcast told us downstairs, that because the goal was scored, that took 2 minutes off of it. So
okay, so that explains, because
it's like scoring on a
no
delayed penalty.
The crowd there and everything. And I was thinking like, well, okay, it's high sticking, so but it happened right before the puck went in. So I thought there might not be anything, because if it was just 2 minutes, I guess it wouldn't have been anything. But that explains it then. Thank you for the explanation, because I was wondering about that.
Yeah, so it's just like with a delayed penalty, if you score on the delayed penalty, that's you got the goal, right? Like that's the way it is. So it was kind of like that. Yeah, so I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Thanks everybody for joining us. Sergeant Pickles, you're heading out. See you next time. Yeah, we'll see you. Yeah, in the arena. They said nothing. Yeah. Which I did think was weird, considering that they announced the 4 minutes, then they get the headsets on, they talk with, Toronto, with whoever, and then they're just like, okay, yeah, this is what's happening. We'll let the coaches know, but nobody else needs to know.
Fans don't care.
But yes, I do agree with you. Puck place market. If that was 4 minutes, that would have changed the game a lot.
Oh yeah,
because that would have swung momentum in a big way. But yeah, we'll see you all after the Thursday night game against Minnesota. Yeah.
Thanks everyone for joining us. First home win.
Yep, first home win. Great win. Awesome win. Beat a historic team. That's always fun too. Beat a team from the north.
Make it 2 in a row on Thursday.
Yeah. So good night to everybody, and we'll see you next time.